Well. Let's embark on my DNA journey. I'm from Kenya. And I'm assuming I'm 100% Kenyan. I did this DNA test partly because I was very curious. I really wanted to know what will come out of it. There are reasons for this. I want to know my DNA setup. And there's also an interesting story from my grandmother, who died recently, aged 105 years. She claimed, contrary to the story of migration, that our clan, which was a women lineage, landed on earth from heaven. So I was curious whether I have an alien DNA. My grandmother comes from an area in eastern Kenya called Ziu Hills, which is an archaeological site with stone prints on granite stone. And she used to tell me that when the women came from heaven and landed there, they were assimilated by a clan of men called Ayini, and our clan was called Aoini. So they formed the Ayini clan of the Akamba people. The second reason I want to do this DNA is because I'm looking for lost relatives. My grandmother lost her brother to the British colonialist. He was taken as a carrier corp to carry things to West Africa. He never came back. They don't know where he died, where he was buried, whether he had a family somewhere. And because I also saw a story that there are Kenyans who were dumped after colonialism by the British in the jungles of India. So I'm hoping maybe I could find some trace of what happened to my great uncle. The third reason is not the least, but it's the most important, is to encourage Kenyans to do this, because a lot of children in Kenya have been trafficked in the name of the church, miracle babies, and all that kind of stuff. And if they didn't land on bad people, they are still alive out there in Western world. And I hope when they try to trace their DNA ancestry, when you do your DNA, then it's in the system and they can trace their relatives. They can find out they are from Kenya, and if your DNA is not in the system, they will not really know who were the closest relatives. And maybe you are lucky, they look for you as parents and you are still alive. That will be a plus point. So, as I said, I'm from Kenya, and I'm assuming I'm 100% Kenyan. Up to my generation, we are not mixed. We never migrated. And I'm hoping that to find out what there is. I come from eastern Kenya, from a tribe called the Akamba people. The Akamba people were known to be long-distance traders. They used to go and exchange goods with Arabs and Chinese before the coming of the white man. They are also known artists. Their art is spread worldwide. They sell it today in exhibitions worldwide. They are also known to be good musicians and dancers. Kamba people are very flexible and rhythmous. They dance very well. What in the West is known as dirty dancing is for the Akamba for generations a norm. The Akamba people are also very spiritual people. They used to preserve some tree entities, forests where they used to worship under fig trees, pour libations. They believed in one God, the same God, Allah, Yahweh, the same God. But when the missionaries, the Christian missionaries came, they destroyed all that. They cut all those species which had been preserved for generations. There was a diversity of trees, and they were all cut down to subdue the Africans and make them convert to Christianity. A very unfortunate incident, which I'm trying to revive with my friends who love culture. The damage, a lot of damage has been done, because there are even cases of the Catholic Church buying the remaining places of worship and converting them to their shrines, which is, I think, is disrespect of the highest order to our community. So let's now go to my DNA test and find out whether I'm an alien, whether I'm a Kenyan, huh? And sure, that will be a very interesting journey. Let's see. Let's go. There we go. As you can see, Kenya is already there, the cradle of mankind, according to archaeologists. Oh, Somalia. I'll not be surprised, we are neighbors. And many times people ask me in Kenya whether I'm from Somalia. So, that will... Oh, now comes West Africa. Oh, Nigeria. Egusi soup. Oh, that's very interesting because we have always thought we are very different people. Look-wise, attitude. That says a lot. Okay, now let me look at this DNA setup here. It says 36.9% Kenyan. So I'm not even 100% Kenyan. That's a big surprise. 19.7 Somali. 17.0% Masai. That's a famous nomadic folk in Kenya and Tanzania who are Nilotes. They came with the River Nile to East Africa. And I'll not be surprised by that because we are neighbors. And there used to be tribal wars because of the cows. And the Maasais would capture Akamba women, the Akamba women, besides the cows. They would also capture the Maasai women. So I'll not be surprised that I'm mixed Maasai. But Nigerian, that is really a big surprise. But in school books, we learned also that the Bantus came from that region. So it is possible. It is possible. And now let me look at the remaining setup of my DNA. It shows that I have also Sierra Leonean DNA, 4.3%. North Africa, 2.2%. And what is even now more interesting, I have West Asia DNA that stretches to Greece, Turkey, Iran, and Iraq. Wow. That I did not expect. But I was open for surprises. Now I know I'm not 100% Kenyan. I also know I have relatives stretching all the way to Finland. I also have a relative who is a bishop in Vatican. And I'm going to get in touch with some of these people. Well, I'm still shocked that I have West African DNA in me. In East Africa, we have some attitude that we look very different from West. Of course, we do look very different. And, you know, just like the area my grandmother came from. The women there are very tall, very brown, even the men. In fact, Hemingway noticed and even mentioned it in his writings. And West African people also, they are also very different looking from East Africans. And I have 11.something% Nigerian. Oh, egusi soup. This is getting better. Okay. People, you try your luck and embark on your DNA journey and have some fun. And I also wish to mention here, I noticed in most American DNA tests, they are saying, oh, they think black is African. There are a lot of brown people in Africa who are not mixed with Caucasians. In my family, there are people more brown than my Caucasian mixed children. So, and there are also a lot of Africans, especially in East Africa, who don't have flat noses. So, get to know the continent of your forefathers and explore. It's beautiful to know. And it's also beautiful to understand that no one belongs to a certain region because we have built all these boxes where we claim we are this and that. And now look, I thought I'm 100% Kenyan. I'm only 36.something%. We say in Swahili, kwaheri, and thank you Asante sana. Shukran. Bye bye.